It's Kringle Time. Sit back and relax as we dive into a world of laughter and learning with the Kringle Brothers, reminding us that we are better together.
Hey, welcome to Kringle Time, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I'm
I
your
was
host,
trying to
Michael
keep up,
Howe, and
and I'm Herbie.
I was thinking you got to come up with something a little bit better. I'm Herbie. You know, what I mean, you can do it. All right.
All right,
Hi,
let's see
I'm your
real
host.
quickly
I'm
here.
one of your hosts, Michael Howe, and
And I am the crazy, energetic, fun-loving, cookie-searching, funny elf named Herbie.
yeah, you are. I agree with it. So how was your week?
The week was great. Easter was wonderful. It was very low key. We kind of did like a good old fashioned American 4th of July Easter. We had hot
Huh?
dogs and hamburgers.
Hot dogs and hamburgers. Did you grill them?
Well, I didn't make him. I was actually invited over to my brother in law's house, and his family made a wonderful meal: hot dogs and hamburgers, potato salad, coleslaw, some green
Wow.
beans. So it was really nice. How was yours?
It was good. We had a friend from church come over and we had ham, so we did the traditional kind of thing, ham, cheesy taters, broccoli, fresh broccoli, that kind of stuff. And but yeah, and I made my sourdough rolls, which I don't make very often, so they came out
I
really
know though. I remember having your sourdough dough pizza, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
So,
it was good. So tonight, unwrapping creativity a little bit.
oh, creativity is so important. I can't wait to get into this one.
Yeah, so let me ask you this question. So when you think of creativity, do you think you're creative?
Oh, I am creative. I was always told that.
Okay. So when people told you that, what were you doing? So if people
Just
said,
like
"Oh, Herbie," well, of course it wasn't Herbie, it was Michael. You're creative. What were you doing that made them
well,
say that?
my parents used to always tell me I was creative because I was one heck of a liar.
What heck of a liar? I've never. No, you had to tell me this because you haven't told me this story.
Oh well, no, it was just I was really good at just coming up with stories, and I love stories. I love to read, and I love my imagination because I didn't really have many friends growing up. I had a lot of people, I played hockey and everything else like that. But I spent more time, inside this head of mine
Yeah.
than anywhere else. And I just created worlds, and I just created, societies. And then when I got introduced to playing like role playing games as an early teenager,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then it just opened up the doors to even more. Then again, you start figuring out like backstories. And I got into acting, and then I got into improv, and then lo and behold, now I'm Santa.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Now I know you're creative because you have a wonderful history or background in music, singing. I mean, being a teacher and keeping the lessons interesting to keep your attentions of your students. I can tell. I already know you guys are. I mean, I'm reading Randy's thing that says, "Guys, I know you're really creative as well."
Oh, in fact, I gotta go over click over the chat. I haven't looked at it. So let's say, so who's on? Who do you see?
Oh, we got
Oh, there's Bubba. I see Bubba.
yeah, we got Ken from Toledo and Randy Wheelock, and Sal from New York is here.
Oh,
Stu
nice.
Radloff, and of course our favorite Jenny Kringle, unless she's playing more jokes on me. Then we have Jeff
April
Let with
Fool.
us,
Jenny's awesome. Yeah, too much
and
fun.
then we have
And
Santa
Ken's on,
Jerry
and
and
Frank
Kelly
is on,
Mitchell,
and Bill.
and Frank Ulcer's with us as well. And we have people coming from the Bahamas. Bonnie Pinder is in the
Oh my
Bahamas.
gosh, you gotta be kidding.
Our one gentleman who actually logs in from Australia, I haven't seen him as of yet, but Matt Spalding's with us, and Kane
Oh, that's
Smith.
awesome.
You know, you know
And,
what's
and Dr.
interesting?
Connor's with us.
Oh, and Dave Renaud is with us as well. I mean, we have so many wonderful
Oh,
things.
wait, I gotta say this. Hello, Sister Claus. My sister
Yep,
Kimberly's on.
Sister Claus is with us there too.
Too
It's
much fun.
awesome.
All right,
But
this will be fun to
you know
get
what's
her
amazing?
back.
You know what's amazing talking about
What?
creativity is everybody that's in this chat and is watching us now or will be watching us later on, they're all creative.
Yeah, Doug's on, Jenny, yeah, Don is on, all of them, right? And that's one of the things that I guess I want to get to the end of the component of unwrapping creativity, because my mind goes, so okay, if I'm creative, first of all, I don't necessarily always see my creativity.
Oh no.
It's because I'm just having a good time, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this would be fun, and then I start going with it. You know what I mean? And I play with it, and it develops. But I think that my creativity, at least for me, um, in the areas that I feel like I'm creative in other words, and I want to come back to remind me, I want to come back to that component of it, um, because I believe personally everyone's creative. I think that you were a human being, and if you're not creative, you're not really happy. That doesn't mean, and I think we pigeonhole creativity, going, oh, you're an artist, oh, you play music, you can draw, and yeah, we like those things, but I'll say this: my wife is extremely creative.
Hmm.
When people ask her, what instrument do you play? She'll say, "Well, I play the radio." you know,
Hmm.
but she can look at something and organize it and find an efficient way to set things up and organize and get things happening in the house that's like, wow, I don't see that. How creative she is. And so I think the issue is finding your area of creativity and then letting it bloom even more. And then you never let it bloom for yourself. You get it, you get part of that. But I guess I'll say it like this. An apple that grows on the tree is not for the tree. It's for those who walk by the tree to get that juicy apple and the treat and the wonderfulness of it. So I think your creativity is always for others. I think what you make and the inspiration you find, and then you take pleasure in it. I'm not saying you don't take pleasure in it or you don't like it, but I think the fruit of it is for those who always walk by your life. You know.
No, I mean, you're making very good points here. But let me go and let's look at this. What would be your definition of creativity?
Oh, oh God, I wasn't expecting that question. Help
Come on,
me
off
out.
the cup.
All right,
Be creative.
we're thinking out loud here. All right, so I don't have something that I can say. Yeah, that's exactly from Webster's dictionary. I mean, the creativity is I look at it as part of imagining. So what's my definition? Imagining and creating, and of course you have to have, it's like. I'm thinking all of a sudden my head jumps to Sound of Music. Nothing comes from nothing, nothing ever could. For somewhere in my youth and childhood, right? But so I look at it, but I think real creativity, you don't necessarily have to have the resource. So I can't put that definition with there. I'm not positive. So help me out. Think out loud
To,
with me.
to be honest with you, I guess for me, is creativity is nothing more than problem solving.
Ooh.
And what we end up doing is what I mean by this, and we have some wonderful things going on. And Bruce Templeton, we're going to come into that. He says, don't fear creativity, it's your friend. Sue Radloff says creativity, thinking outside the box. Charlie Johnson
Yeah.
says making something new. But what I'm trying to get to it is when we're approached with, I don't want to say a dilemma, but when we're approached with an obstacle,
Yeah.
how we go ahead and work that obstacle
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
work around that obstacle is creativity. We always have a creative way of thinking and doing. But I did like something that you posted here, and this is a catch, is creativity shuts down the moment perfection walks in.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is you were telling me a story before we actually came on in the green room here, Bruce Templeton. actually
Yes, I
put
know,
your.
he's so good.
Well, why don't you go ahead and summarize that really quickly too, because this is a perfect example.
Well, Bruce has been blessing me the last couple days because, he saw last week's show and we created the magic slide and he immediately started making it. So he sent me a picture of it. So here's Bruce's magic picture version 1. Then I get another picture, picture 2. And then today I get another one where he's now got a border on it and it's just like it's morphing. The size of it is meeting where he's at. He did it by a cardstock 4x6. And it's just been so much fun seeing Bruce create that and seeing the versions of it where he's learned from this first one. He made a second one. I absolutely have been enjoying that a huge.
But that's what I was trying to get to. It is Bruce is still being creative because for him the magic picture frame is not perfect. And as long as it remains not perfect, there will always be new ways and new introductions and new pieces that can be added in.
Yeah,
And I
different
also look at
pictures,
you.
and the pictures communicate the message that you want to get across. So it's back to your problem. Here's the problem. How can I communicate this differently? Yeah, I love it. You're awesome, Herbie.
See, so for me is I really enjoy an author by the name of Austin Kleon, Kleon, and he wrote a wonderful book in a series of books called Steal Like an Artist.
Ooh.
And this is a concept here, and it took me a little bit to come to this point. There's nothing new in the world. Everything has been done. But you know what? People look at as being creative, or as you pointed out before, as being an artist. It's taking something that has already been done and putting a new twist on it.
Yeah.
And our conversations last week, or yeah, maybe it was last week when we were doing the prop show, it was the point of coming up with props and constantly having those stories evolve. I look at your dream spheres. You came up with a wonderful concept. You're being very creative with the whole thing, and then you started adding pieces.
And Doug.
And then next thing you know is,
Yeah.
then Doug got on board, and then next thing you know, 1 now goes to 3. And then I can't wait. Pretty much, you guys,
Yeah.
you guys are gonna pretty much come out with a board that literally is going to look like something out of Harry Potter, with capturing the memories from each child going into each sphere itself.
Well, when you just said that, all of a sudden I thought, have you ever seen those pictures of like spider eyes where there's all the different
Yep.
little bubbles? It's the spider eye view. Yeah.
But I think at the same time too is we have to nurture a creative atmosphere. And I know many of the people that are actually in with us in this group here have so many wonderful ideas. You have belonged to so many wonderful groups. But sometimes what happens then is when you get around other people who you may think are more experienced, more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm getting feedback
Comparison.
on
In other
something.
words, yeah. Yeah. You want something to steal your joy in it, start comparing it.
Right. Well, the thing is, we have to foster a safe space where there is no bad ideas.
True, that's one of my notes. You got my note.
I know, but this is the point that I was trying to get to is, it takes others. Again, we're better together. When you get a bunch of people, like-minded individuals together, there's no telling what you can come up with. One little simple splinter can lead into basically making a whole new kind of tree.
Yeah, yeah. I want to backtrack a second because I loved what you
Yeah.
comment because you're talking about solving a problem. That's problem solving. And I'm thinking how many times you're creative, like when teaching, but then also when I'm having visits with children and all of a sudden they'll ask a new question. And it's like, how many times have we encouraged to have a notebook? Because all of a sudden you'll say something. It was like, oh my gosh, that was a great response. I've got to write that down and keep it. And
Mhm.
then the next thing that in my head I find going, how can I create a visual representation to what I just had to answer for the very first time? And so a lot of my prop ideas really come out of that problem solving. You're saying, all right, if I figure if one child says this, then there's got to be more children that are wondering the same thing. And so then it's like, how can I visually, show that to them? Yeah.
But I mean, but
Problem
again,
idea. Yeah.
when we start when we start looking at different things, we also have to look at where does these creative nuggets come from?
Yeah. So what inspires you? Where do you find inspiration?
From all over the place. I mean, books, TV, movies, my weird imagination. I come up with something and I just figure out if I can actually put the pieces together to do so. But when we go back and look at it, I believe what in the early 1900s, I think maybe the 1930s, there was a French author that was talking about putting a rocket ship on the moon. 30 years later, roughly, and don't I mean I may be off with my dates here. Here we are sending people to the moon, and it's because of those creativity. And again, it just takes a spark. Now, one of the things too is when Michael and I we talk about storytelling and we get into conversations and discussions with others about storytelling, it's taking a story and making it your own and using your creativity to change that to work within your sphere of experience. And I think that's what helps. You asked me where I get my ideas from an imagination standpoint. What feeds your imagination?
Well, you know what? I wish I could say that it was always on, but I find myself at times, depending on how I'm feeling, where I don't feel any inspiration. Sometimes it's literally just sitting and looking at the sky, or
Hmm.
it's sitting on my front porch, or I find it in a song or a note. I I wrote I wrote a song one time where literally I was meditating on an idea, right, for I would say 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I'm walking from one classroom in the high school back to the middle school, and I'm getting a drink of water. I have no idea the correlation of the water or what. I'm just it hit. I'm I'm getting a drink of water, and all of a sudden, I could hear all the music in my head. I literally could hear the orchestration of it. It was just like it was there. And I literally ran back to my room, grabbed a piece of paper, and was doing musical notations. And the kids going, yeah, I think they recognized how frantic I was trying to get it all down on paper. And they're going, Mr. Howard. I went, no, 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 don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. You got to wait. I'll tell you in a minute. And there's da, 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 da. And literally penned the entire song with production notes in 3 minutes. And then of course went to the studio and recorded it. But it was just like one of those, yeah, it was just so sometimes for me, I'm not sure where it comes from. Some it's meditating on it sometimes, or it's coming from somebody else sometimes, or a word or a note, and then all of a sudden it's like a floodgate. The dam breaks, and then I find a period where I'm writing and I'm creating, and then all of a sudden it just takes a lull, and maybe my head just needs a break because of it. Because sometimes I get going so fast, I can't even hardly go to sleep.
Yeah, I want to also piggyback on something that you just said too. Is y- eh, when you came up with that idea, it wasn't that you got onto a computer and you began typing. You basically wrote it all down by hand. You took a pen, a writing instrument, pencil, and you started writing everything on
Yeah.
paper. And I think what happens with our society as it is now, because screens are so predominant in our lives anymore,
Yeah.
we don't take the opportunity to write things down. Now, one of the things I started doing is creating a journal. So when I get an idea,
Yeah.
I create a journal, and I think, yep, I have it right here. And it's a book that I carry with me. And anytime I get an inspiration to come up to, I'm already like going. Like, again, I was working on my Santa North Pole. So I started taking notes from The Life and Times of Santa Claus by Frank L. Baum. And
Yeah.
next thing I know is I started going here. I started looking at getting into puppetry and looking at that. Stacy says no because puppets can be creepy.
But they also can be really helpful. But it's back to your creativity because I know Jerry has some great
Oh
puppets.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, we met. I mean, look at Bob Abbo, who we met when we were in Virginia. Here you have a premier ventriloquist who's looking to basically divert from basically being a puppeteer
Yeah.
to becoming Santa and doing away with some of the things that he feels comfortable with.
Yeah.
But
Matt
these are my.
Smalley, who's an author, very creative. I love Matt's work and what he's done. He made the comment, notes are super helpful. Yeah.
Now again, though, is it's not just in writing and coming up with the North Pole, but this creativity also comes into spark of costuming. It
Oh
also
yeah, yeah,
comes
yeah.
into play with because again, I've seen all of you out there have so many wonderful, wonderful clothes and attire and suits with embellishments and stitch work. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, like Sherry Heath stuff. Oh my
Oh, but
gosh.
yeah,
Her
but I mean,
imagination.
Heather Gabriel. I mean, Bill Dendy would tell his Stuart Deacon. Here's a job. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who's also very creative is Stuart. I mean, when you
Yep.
sit there and you look at what he's done, I mean, how many Santas that are watching us right now can actually crack a bullwhip? And why would Santa even have to have a bullwhip?
Yeah.
Because if you remember, Edmund Gwynn in Miracle on 34th Street cracked a whip at the beginning of the float before he started going down in the parade. So again, it's that creativity, it's those small details that can actually help out.
Yeah, feed your imagination, books, reading, music. Gosh, the list goes on. And I guess I would say a lot of creativity to do different things for Santa, I find outside of the community. Talking to other friends or seeing other things or listening. I because of my dyslexia, I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of audiobooks. And so I find that all of a sudden something that's not necessarily even Christmas, I hear it, but my head naturally goes, "Oh, that would be great to do." And then I take it off and start creating it or changing it so I can adapt it to a Christmas or a Santa theme.
Well, it goes right back to what we were saying before, where you have to look at things through Santa eyes because there's so much inspiration, there's so much uniqueness that's out there
Yeah.
that can turn right around and aid your portrayal as Santa Claus. I know you're looking up at the clock, Michael. You want to go ahead and run the dad joke, or do you want to do Larry and Kringle Tractor?
Let me let's do this. Let's run the dad joke first, and then I've got a comment to make, and then we'll run our contributors. Here we go.
Perfect.
Thanks, Herbie.
What did Adam say on the day before Christmas? It's Christmas Eve.
Thank you,
Oh my
Don.
goodness!
What did
Thank you,
Adam say?
Don.
It's Christmas Eve. Yeah, that was awesome. I liked it. All right. So here's my play more, which is awesome with
Yes.
the dad jokes. I mean, maybe that's why I like dad jokes so much because it reminds me to play and have fun. You know.
Well, when you talk about play more again, and we talk about this when we actually go into improvisation often.
Yeah.
It's as adults, we forget the concept of play. We forget what it's like. I mean, I'm not saying we all need to go out and play a rousing game of freeze tag
Yeah.
or Red Rover. No, but what I'm saying though is we take life so seriously. And as we grow older. And it's funny is you start off playing, and then when you start getting into like your 20s, your 30s, 40s, you become serious.
Yeah.
And then after that, as you start getting in, and once you retire, then you start getting playful. I mean, where do you think all these dad jokes come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the problem here is because we forgot how to play, so we become fearful of letting our creativity go forward there. I mean, I know from a Mrs. Claus perspective and even Santa's out there, I've eaten some of your all's food. You are so creative in the kitchen with decorating cakes and
Ooh.
cookies and so many wonderful things. There's a reason for that. But you know what? That brings us something else too.
Right.
One of the best thing that you can do to maintain creativity is to take the pressure off of you.
Yeah, it's give yourself permission to fail and or
Yeah.
to make mistakes. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Fail's so negative. Make mistakes. It's like what was it? Einstein was not Einstein.
No, Ben Franklin. I
No,
mean,
no,
Thomas
no, no,
Edison.
no, light bulb. Edison,
Edison.
a thousand mistakes before he got the filament for the light bulb. A thousand.
Exactly. And look how many patents he actually has under his name. And that's just because why? He came up with an idea and he just went with it. And he kept trying and trying, trial and error until, and then even too, the light bulb Edison created is not the one that we use now because, again, people have taken it and used their creativity to move forward. And with the creativity aspects, improved upon an existing item.
Yeah.
Again, steal like an artist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let's do some thank yous and then we'll come back.
Not a problem.
Are you going crazy managing clients, contracts, and invoices? Kringle Tracker is here to help you. Stay organized with ease. Keep your sanity in check with Kringle Tracker's intuitive tools to effectively manage your schedule and clients. Our seamless, customizable contract system allows you to tailor your contracts to you and your client's needs. Prepare for tax time like a pro by tracking your income and expenses and generate reports to make it a breeze. Transform your claws business by signing up for a free 20-day trial. Kringle Tracker was created by a claws for the claws community so you can focus on making magical memories for your clients. Head over to kringletracker.com and sign up for your free trial today.
Hey, we're back.
Whoa. Why did you go to Christmas trivia already on me?
Well, you know what? I thought we were talking about play and playing more, and then being able to fail. And so I've been busy this week, and I've had fun with a new app that's in the software. And so I thought, all right, so what should I want to do a segment, at least, all right, well, at least one segment going, can you answer as much as Herbie? Something, it's like, are you smarter than a second grader, kind of thing. So
Yes, I graduated to second grade.
I found this app, right, that allows it now. So hopefully I can articulate this well. Everyone can play. All right. And then what you do when you play, all you do is I've got 4 questions or 1 question, 4 answers, multiple choice. All you have to do in the comment box is type, like, if you think it's letter A, put a capital A. If you think the answer is B, put a capital B, C, put a capital C, D, put a capital D to answer it, and it'll log it in. And then Herbie, you can play right along with them. So you'll notice on the screen, there's a light bulb at the top.
Okay.
You see that light bulb up there? So
Yes, I do.
You can click on that light bulb and then you can choose A, B, C, or D. And then it'll keep track of your score and everyone else's score.
Now, this isn't for prizes or anything. This is to
No,
see
no,
who's
no.
smarter than Herbie.
This is just the the point of playing, and just back to play a little bit and something a little bit different, and then just having fun with it. Is that cool?
Okay.
Is that cool? All right. So we're gonna play. Let me see if I can get this to come up. Hopefully I can there we go. I got it to come up. So here's the first question. Hopefully everyone understands how to play. And if we make a mistake, don't worry about it because it is. So here's the first question. So if Santa was traveling from the North Pole to the South Pole, how many miles would he need to cover? A, 2,416, B, 12,416, C, 16,214, or D, 22,816. So Herbie, click on that and pick a letter.
I did.
Did you do it? All right, everyone,
I
here
did.
goes. And the answer is B, 12,416.
Well, I did double.
All right, so here we go. Let's see how I have none here. We're going through the answer. Oh, it's not scrolling. Oh, Jenny, can I get more? Oh, Jenny, there's Jenny. She was the fastest in responding to the question. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. All right, let's see what else we got
Well, the
here.
problem is I wish I could scroll through. There's Kathy. Kathy Norad got it, but it's like, okay, I've got to work on the app a little bit since it's not allowing me to scroll down to see how anyone else responded. So, but all right, let's go over. Here's question number 2. You ready, Herbie?
I'm ready.
Question number 2. Approximately how many poinsettias are sold each year in the United States? 1.6 million, B, 6 million, C, 65 million, or D, 650 million. Did you put your answer in, Herbie?
Yes, I did.
All right, and the answer is 65 million poinsettias.
I don't believe that's right. I had a typo.
Did I misspell million? No, I spelled
No.
it right.
No, I forgot to put the 5 in there.
All right, so here we go. Oh, Herbie still none. So Jenny, all right, Jenny is like number 1 on here. She's the fastest again. Well, at least with that one. I'm not sure if anyone else got it right because I can't scroll through there. I've got to work
Okay,
that
so how many more we got to go? 2 more?
Nope, just one more. So
One more.
you got to get this one right, Herbie. I think you'll get it right. You got to get this one right, at least to tie with Jenny. Of course, but if she gets it right, then looks like she would be the winner. So, all right.
Well,
So
luckily
you
we're not
ready?
giving prizes out for this.
Yeah, good thing this is just for fun. So, last question.
Last question.
Oop, there we go. True or false? In Russia, after the Communist Revolution, Santa's name changed to Grandfather Frost. Did you type it in?
Yes.
Are you ready for the reveal?
Yes.
It is true.
Yes.
Oh, there you got it, Herbie. You got it. Of course, I'm showing up because I'm logged in. Like I said,
Right.
This is just the fun little thing. I'm going back to the end. Oh, look at all the people who are responding. Oh, this was fun.
I know.
So
this is something maybe we could develop and we could do an entire show just on Christmas trivia.
well, oh yeah, just asking questions. Well, I've got to figure out how to scroll that screen so we can see other people's responses. I mean, Jenny's
We'll
on the
figure it
fast.
all
She
out.
got the fastest response, and she can type that letter quick.
Exactly. She's really smart too.
So, all right, just a fun little. I just thought I would try that out, but it looks like it went. It looks like it. Yeah. She's not just. Oh, Doug commented. She's not just a pretty face.
Yes.
Yeah. all
Okay,
right.
let's see.
Too
Joseph Cunningham, I'm a dunce. Don't think it updated. But
Bruce, I don't think it updated. All right. So we're still working
going
on the
back-
bugs of the software. So that was kind of like one of those. All right. I give my permission to fail, but give it a try because it could end up being really funny.
So, going back to what we were talking about, somebody made a good comment too again that children now don't know what it's like to go out and play in the mud,
Mm,
skip stones, and
yeah,
actually do physical activity. And I think that's from a creative standpoint.
yeah. Stay outside until
That
the street lights come on.
exactly. I know my mother actually used to kick us out of the house at like right after breakfast and going, I don't want to see you until the streetlights come out. But because of that, and you've had the same stories, you jump on your bike, and next thing you know is you're packing across South America on your bike, and you're living your life as Indiana Jones,
That's
and
right. Or
but
evil. When I was a kid, it was Evil Knievel. I
oh,
mean,
yeah, trying to jump over kids,
always
yeah.
setting up cans and stuff, and yeah, yeah, trying to be Evil Knievel.
But again, though, that's where the creativity comes into play at. And I can't stress so much, and I know Michael and I have said this many a times, is what we do works for us. And you all have I mean, at least you have my permission to take anything I do. And if you build upon it and you make it better, don't be surprised when I take it back.
Yeah, I like the idea of asking questions. So
Oh, questions are
learn to ask better questions. Like, what do you think will happen if we did this? You know, what else can I tell? What else can I do? You know, and so in other words, always asking that question and getting in that mind, you know, enjoying what you do, but always asking that question to be able to spark something new in it.
well, again, it's a point of utilizing what you already know, meaning your experiences, what you've read. Everybody here has so many wonderful experiences. I mean, I'm sure if we actually took polls here, we have engineers, we have electricians, we have carpenters, we have magicians, we have singers and songwriters and musicians. And this is the most important part of being this creativeness is
Yeah.
pulling from what we already know and asking better questions. Don't be afraid to play. Don't put pressure on you.
Yep.
And most importantly, don't take it all upon yourself. You hear all these companies out there that put all their products through trials and tests and things like that. And that's what we need to do at as a Christmas performer. When we come up with an idea, the only way you're going to know if it's going to work, if it's going to maybe spark something different, is to put it out into the atmosphere and see how it goes. And Bruce, yes, you are correct. Experience can work creativity.
Yeah. I'll throw
It
that
has
on.
been done before. But again, though, is when we start looking at how experiences can work against creativity, it really comes down into the logical thinking of one. For me, one of the best lines I've ever heard from a TV show was watching young Sheldon one day.
Oh,
And
really?
if you're familiar with young Sheldon, is that always took place before the Big Bang Theory. So you're kind of looking at like right around the late 70s, maybe early 80s. Well, one episode, a individual from NASA came in, and Sheldon stepped up and goes, "Why are you wasting all the money? Why can't you just have the rockets return and land on a pad?" And he's like, the math is too difficult, and we don't have that technology yet. And it's funny because you remember the space shuttle. That was exactly what space shuttle would do.
Yeah.
But you are right but there are people out there that can actually take experience and create new and exciting things. And there are going to be your naysayers. So again, when it comes to creativity, you have to keep an open mind. You have to keep your options open, because once you close down, once you shut down,
Yeah.
then creativity stops. And
So
that's the disappointment.
have you ever had anybody in your life tell you that you weren't creative? In other words,
Oh, I haven't.
I think of the stories of, like someone, a child or someone young drawing something and then someone going, "That's horrible.
Oh yeah.
You're not an artist. You can't do that." And then
I
and
can
then hearing the stories how it really shuts them down.
Well, I can tell you too, is I mean, growing up for me is I'm a product of the old voodoo. I was left-handed when I was actually growing up, but everybody
Oh,
would hit me and tell me you're using the wrong hand, which forced me to use my right hand.
see, I didn't know that story on you.
Yeah, and so, but again, though, I was told too that I live in the clouds. I'm a dreamer. And I don't touch Earth because my head is always so far up in the clouds, and it does take away because I'm not a very logical person. I'm a person who basically pulls at 50 different strings at one time, and hopefully something works. But I'm very fortunate because I'm surrounded by other people, such as yourselves, who, when I have a problem or when I have an issue, I can call or get together and then we can brainstorm this and go.
Yeah.
And that brings us up to another point though, is if you go back and look at like the 50s and the 60s, really before quality assurance, pretty much nobody was allowed to actually enter any type of ideas, especially if you were, say, working an assembly line.
Yeah.
You were told what to do, and that's all. It wasn't until quality where people started going to the workers and going, what can we do to make this better?
Yeah.
And then they started going from here. I want to bring up Bruce Templeton actually really has a really good story. If you actually know Bruce Templeton, he wrote a wonderful book. But as he said, five publishers turned him down on his first book. And finally, number six said yes, and it was a bestseller.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I love that just keep pressing it in, believing in yourself. I love those stories of overcoming, you know. And I think it's good for children to see that Santa has difficulties and problems,
You
and
know,
then you overcome them. And then you share how you do that. Because like, and I'll be vulnerable with this because of my dyslexia and stuff, right? One of my things that I do every March that I absolutely love is I buy books for kids, and I go to the school and I read to the classrooms, right? So here I am, dyslexic, and I'm of course I practice, so I know what I'm doing and I'm reading, but it's literally, and I'll tell kids, you said, did you know that Santa's dyslexic? And I'll say to them, I said, you know what? But reading's so important. That's why I keep trying. And so I let them know that I have problems, but that this is important to do. And I'm here today because I'm not going to quit. So I love showing the vulnerability to them and to encourage those kids that are struggling. And then that's why I buy them all books and trying to encourage it, because I know we better read is reading, but that's a different story. All of that to come back to your point of I love Bruce's thing of, and you overcome it, and you keep doing it because it's the right thing to do, and so you find your creativity in it, and then you push forward.
well, all of us will eventually have a great idea and we're going to come up and hit the proverbial wall. We won't be able to move forward. We won't be able to do anything else. And sometimes you just have to set those things on the shelf and wait for inspiration to come back at you. And then before you know it, you can move forward with it. But one of the things I do like about what you were just saying with your books and stuff is it's an amazing opportunity for you because by you handing out those books, you may be able to inspire a child to seek out to be an author.
Well, yeah, one of the things that I tell them that I love is that, well, you know what? Writing stories are so important. And I go, if someone didn't write my stories down, how would you know about me? And they all look at me. It's like the light bulbs comes off. If someone didn't write "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," how would you know about me? And so I encourage that writing in those stories. So, yeah. So
But again, though, is for everybody who's watching us and those who I hope watch us in the future here, don't ever say you're not creative. Every single one of you is a creative powerhouse. You have
Sorry, I want to raise my right hand. I solemnly swear not to say I'm not creative anymore.
Well,
I promise.
that's that's not a bad idea. Every day you should approach yourself in the mirrors and go, you know what? I am a creative individual. I have challenges that I will overcome today, but I'm not going to let the pressure and other people wave me from my goal is to basically create something today, whether it's a memory, whether it's a story, whether it's a new prop, or maybe whether it's a answer to a problem that you can solve. Again, creativity is shaped by what we love, what we study, and what we absorb over time. So
Yeah. Like I was talking to Chris the other day, and Chris is so smart, engineering wise, all that engineering and fixing and stuff. And I really encouraged Chris and said, you need to have a whole thing where, my sleigh busted down, so I had to rebuild the alternator. And then I said, but the bushes and this and that, and then start talking about what you do, what you already know, and use what you know in your gifting to create this moment with kids, because you have no idea who you're going to inspire.
right.
Yeah.
And again, we keep referring to storytelling and prop generation, but even in your direct contact with children, whether it's in line at a mall, a home, a themed event, or anything like that, you never know what's going to be creative, because again, Michael brought this up. Children ask so many questions that you may not be ready for or primed for. But by the use of your creativity, some improvisational techniques, and just being in the moment, you will be able to answer almost anything with truth. And that's what they're looking for. I'm
Sorry,
what I
I'm
do now.
giggling over you're making the comment answering with truth, and your parents told you were creative because you lie. No, sorry, Herbie.
Hey,
I'm just laughing over that
let's
comment.
let's rephrase that. Let's pull the lie out and let's put down a
Imagination.
dramatic interpretation
All right. Yeah.
of now.
All right. Let's do this. Let's play trivia. But
Okay,
this
for
time
real now.
for real. This one's for a prize, and we've got the trivia. I've got it corrected this week, right? So I'm going to do what I was supposed to do last week, and I'm going to do it this week. So this is really an April Fool's trivia, but it's not an April Fool's. You can really win something. So Herbie, what are the rules for the giveaway for the trivia?
The rules are simple for those who have not played with us before. We are, reminds me of Saturday Night Live skit. Stuart Smaller and daily affirmations, and by golly, I'm worth it. That's right, Bob. By golly, you are.
Yes,
The rules are very simple. If you have won within the last, let's see here, 5 weeks, then you are
I
not
think it's 6
eligible.
weeks. I think it's 6 or
Oh,
8.
It really truthfully is. Everybody who's won is not actually eligible to go until like a long time from now.
So
So,
that's true.
number 2 is if you live in Canada or Mexico or anywhere overseas, unless you actually have a mailbox or some way to actually get the item sent to you
In the
via the
United
mail, we do
States.
not do ever any mailing to overseas.
Sorry.
Again, please try to refrain from using Google, which I really can't stop you anyway because I'm not there. And I think I covered everything, didn't I?
And we will just do a thanks to Wade and Scarlett from Santa's Closet.
And because of that, if you are today's winner, see, I forgot something very important.
Yeah.
If you are today's winner, please go ahead and email us at.
Whoop,
me
you want me to
pull it
bring
up
it
here.
up? There we go. I'll bring it up.
Yep, yeah, there it is. At kringlebrothers2@gmail.com with your name, your address, and your shirt size.
In case
Also,
whatever
like
they're
to take-
getting, so everything's covered, and we'll forward that to Scarlett and
Wait,
Wade.
it's Santa's Closet.
Yeah. So I think
And
we're ready.
also,
Then we
too-
can come back to the other one. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So, what is today's question, Michael? Why don't you go ahead?
Santa's Closet has been committed to providing unique, high-quality accessories for Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the entire Claus community. Our mission is to deliver exceptional customer service and outstanding value, offering competitive pricing and a wide selection of products designed to enrich the Klaus experience.
Woo! All right, are you ready, Herbie? You've got.
I am ready. I got
comment bar up.
chat here. All right. Go ahead, my friend. Let's hit him with the best stuff.
Okay, here we go. All right. Which technology innovation was once famously believed to be an April Fool's Day prank?
See, creativity.
Technology innovation? They thought it was an April Fool's prank. They didn't believe it. Oh, that one. I don't see the chat thing scrolling yet.
Because everybody's typing into Google.
Which technology innovation was once famously believed to be an April Fool's prank?
So close, Mike Connor, but no, it's not the phone.
Oh, that was a good guess.
No,
I got
not
more
Julie
telephone.
Campbell, not the telephone, or Rich Gandolfo. Oh, there we go. Santa Jerry 13.
Jerry 13. We got Jerry 13 got it. Yeah, that's right. Here we go. It was Gmail. In other words, Gmail came out on April 1st, and everyone thought it was a prank because they're going, hey, this is a hoax. Who's going to give you a free gig of storage? Can you imagine? So that was what Gmail came out. You got a free gig of storage, and everyone at that time goes, a gig? Oh my gosh, this is a hoax. Who would freely give a gig? And so, but they did. Gmail did.
Again. Okay, Santa Jerry 13, email us at kringlebrothers2@gmail.com. Send us your name, your address, and your shirt size so we can forward it out to Wade and Scarlett of Santa's Closet.
And thank you, Wade and Scarlett, for giving out wonderful presents and gifts. I just ordered some stuff. They've got a sale going on, and I bought a new buckle for my summer outfit.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, and then
now, yeah. Just looking at some of these other answers, you guys are getting really creative. I'm glad we did this show. Because one said the TV. Santa Kevin said Germany.
Germany.
Diane said smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision?
Yeah, smell-o-vision. Kevin Bernhardt said tech color. I think he meant Technicolor.
I love it.
Bubba Claus said dishwasher.
Dishwasher. Fun.
Deb said electricity. So and Dave Wilson said a rock.
I like it. Yep. A roll. Don't forget the roll.
But before we go into this one, Dave, you just came up. Think about the creativity of the individual who came up with the concept of the pet rock and got people to buy it.
I know.
Now, you can't get much more creative than that, can you?
It was good. So do us a favor if you would. If you like Kringle Time with the Kringle Brothers, Mike and I, do me a favor. Please like it on Facebook. Follow us. And then also on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to us. They're those little mathy equation
algorithm thingies.
What are the algorithms? Aggie something, whatever that is. It helps, and we really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to us. And if you have any questions or suggestions for ideas for shows or things coming up, I'm excited. I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. Not next week. Next week is tax day, so I thought it would be good to talk about Kringle Tracker. But the Wednesday after that, Spencer from Live Bearded. He's a co-founder of Live Bearded Products, and he's going to come on and talk to us about taking care of your beard and a wealth of knowledge. So I'm excited for that. And I've got a couple invitations out there for sign language, for us to learn some signing. And so I'm hoping, and yeah, so I just got to confirm stuff. So I'm just letting you know, if you have an idea of a topic or something that you would like to see or for us to work on, please email that to us at kringlebrothers2@gmail.com, and we'll do our best to get it into the mix and to share with you.
And just to let you all know too is we have here in Michigan, we have our Jingle Joy event coming up here at the end of May, first part of June at Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm. That'll be a wonderful opportunity. We have the awesome Bob McMasters joining us here in Michigan to go ahead and teach and lecture us about the art and business of being Santa.
Yeah, I can't wait for Bob to come and
And,
experience a little bit of Michigan and for him to see the reindeer farm. I love Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm. In fact, I was thinking the other day we need to get Dan, and Dave back,
oh,
and
that'd be fun.
share about the reindeer.
Now, just some other announcements here. Santa Doug wanted me to make sure that Sunday will be the making of the Kringle Cam on Santa's Workshop. So again, if you are interested in how to actually make the Kringle Cam, as Michael and Doug showed last week, tune in on Sunday and they'll show you what you need and what you got to do. Also, too, is Michael and I and my lovely wife Stacy will be going into Castle Noel for Santa Day. I believe it's May 17th. If you're going to be in the Medina area, come on up and tour the wonderful facility of Castle Noel, enjoy the parade, and get an opportunity for us to say hi and thank each and every one of you. Did I miss anything else?
Nope, I can't think of anything. Any last comment, Michael, before we go that you'd like to make
Well, I
about
just here
unwrapping
put our
creativity?
Jingle Joy Retreat, and then of course I
Yep,
want to
that's
put
the
all the stuff
family.
out
That
there.
was the family one. In other words,
That was the family one.
Yep.
And then this is Jingle Joy as well too.
Working through. There we go. There's the Jingle Joy with Bob. And then on the 30th, it's a free event for the Christmas performers and the family. They open the reindeer farm up. We'll have the morning. They'll do a reindeer election. Santa, Joe is going to be doing a craft a reindeer puzzle that's awesome. And there's also Stephanie will be here for professional pictures and your portraits to help you with your marketing and stuff. And so sign up with her and all that wonderful stuff. That'd be great. It'll be a good time. I am so looking forward to doing the puzzle with Joe. He's such a great woodworker.
Now, let's see. He is such a great worker. And again, another very creative individual who uses not only modern techniques to do something that would have taken people a long time to do. So,
Yeah, awesome.
it's
So
awesome.
any
But one
last
last thing about creativity. It's the livelihood and blood flow of being a Christmas performer. It is something that's very important, not just for your Claus portrayal, but even in life itself. Always remember, creativity is not just a single individual event. It does take others in order to see how well and if they can be improvements onto it. And in closing, creativity only ends when perfection is sought.
Yeah.
So, in the words of Austin Kleon and Steel Like an Artist, there's nothing left out there. Nothing we create is completely original, and that is not a weakness. It is the starting point of all meaningful work. So, always remember. Oh, I got to get to that line or I'm going to lose it here because I can never remember it anyway. All right, go ahead, Michael. Oh, let's see. Why don't you go ahead and give the thank yous out real quick?
All right. Well, let me turn to that page. Hang on a second, because I don't want to make a mistake on it. At least one of those. To Bob and to the TNL network and all of the shows and our family there, thank you so much for allowing us to come and to be here. Of course, Larry and Talbot with insurance, with Roger, with Kringle Tracker, Wade and Scarlett with Santa's Closet and everything that you provide for us and our listeners. We appreciate it. And major big thank you to our lovelies, Stacy and Linda.
Yes. And also a
And
big special, and
to our listeners, to them.
that's
You.
right, to them. And as Michael said, next week's show will be about Kringle Tracker and a few maybe contract and invoicing information as well too.
Thought it
So
would be apropos since it was tax day.
makes sense to me.
You know what I mean? You got to do your taxes. What do they say? There's a couple things that are sure in life, right? Dying and taxes, so.
Exactly. So, all right, let's go, Michael. Closing statement here.
So may your days be jolly and your heart shine bright.
And may the magic of Christmas fill every aspect of your life.
And remember to be good for goodness sake.
And spread joy and share kindness to all you see.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Christmas to
Thanks for watching.
you all
We
have a very
appreciate
good night, and thank you for watching.
After party.
show.
All right.
Oh my
cool.
goodness. Did you have a dad joke you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to say thanks. I appreciate your creativity, your inspiration to me, and your constant encouragement to me. It's nice to be told to keep creating and not to, I as a kid we were talking the comments of things that people would say to you. My dad would yell in at my mom because one of my goals when I was young is to make my mom laugh. Right. And of course, then she would laugh. And then, of course, that would set up new jokes and new things for me to try to entertain her. Right. And my dad would yell in the other room, Arlene, don't encourage that kid. So I'm glad I didn't necessarily always listen to him.
Yeah, and like I said, you're an amazing individual when you actually start looking at your life stories and you start looking at your performance, and not just from being Santa, but from your musical career, your ministry. It's an amazing sight to watch. One of the things I just wanted to point out too, and I know he may have signed off already, but did you know Bruce Templeton has said his books have bought polio vaccines for over 600,000 children?
Yeah. And Santa Don, that was on the show, he's a polio
Was a,
survivor.
exactly. So again, he states that sometimes if you have a cause that you really truly care about, your creativity will basically flow a lot easier. But always remember
In other words,
this.
we didn't
and
get
for
to
the,
that point in my notes, finding meaning in
right,
it. Because when you have a meaning and a purpose, your creativity, you're driven to do it. Like finding that vaccine. There's a
but
purpose
I just
meaning to it.
I just wanted to say this as we close at the very end here is, you know, what's the words I'm looking for here is
I want to
Michael
go
and
in, Dasher and Dancer.
you know, answer.
Sorry,
No,
go
no.
ahead. Go ahead.
Michael and I are here to lend an ear, to lend a hand, to give advice or opinions. If you want them, just reach out to us. We are here. We are willing to help as much as we can. We don't want to take anything from you, but if you do need a sounding board, please reach out.
All right. Blessings, everyone. Have a great night. We
Blessings.
appreciate it.